Hey guys, AnimCap here. It's a full recap of anime Renai flops. I hope you'll like it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and now let's start. The story begins with a person who is dreaming of losing a girl. Who knows who he is dreaming of? Asahi immediately wakes up from his dream. After waking up, he saw the news on television. Seen from the news, there is a fortune teller predicting good news for someone born on October 8th. The fortune teller explained that a person will have an interesting meeting. To be precise, they will meet at a crossroads and so on. At first Asahi was very enthusiastic, but he also didn't expect more because the place she said was very much. Then when leaving for school, Asahi gets a streak of accidents. Manly, he accidentally bumped into a very cute girl. Coincidentally, Asahi fell where it shouldn't be because guilt had hit him. The girl apologized to him. The girl was embarrassed that her panties were seen by this man. But she was not angry because all of this was also her fault. Because time was running out, the girl immediately went to school. But she accidentally dropped a strange white cloth. Seeing it, Asahi immediately took it and intended to return it later. Then when he entered the train, Asahi was very happy because the train was still quiet. However, before the train departs, suddenly there is a girl sitting nearby. Asahi felt nervous, but he also couldn't move because the girl was rubbing against his body. Again feeling nervous, Asahi fell with the sleeping girl. Luckily, he even touched the girl's sensitive area. When she woke up, the girl immediately hit him while sleeping. Luckily, Asahi was not hit and immediately got out of the carriage. After that incident, he remembered the fortune teller he had seen before. It was true that he had good luck, but also bad luck for the second time. Went on the stairs again. Asahi got very epic luck when he was hit by a very sweet girl as before. Asahi was thought to be a pervert because she had landed in a sensitive place. Bad luck here because the girl was angry. Asahi took a serious smack right in the sensitive area, making today's third bad luck. After the incident, Asahi found the cleaning robot carrying a bra. Asahi immediately grabbed it, and from the front appeared the girl who seemed to have the bra. The girl thought that Asahi stole her bra. The girl guessed that it was him who hacked the robot. Shortly after that incident, Asahi met a cute dog. He thought that this dog would not do anything. Remembering the fortune teller said that later if he met a dog, then he would definitely get lucky. After that, he saw this. Asahi actually wanted to help him. But after listening to the fortune teller's words, Asahi just let it go because he didn't want the same thing as before. Unfortunately, before leaving, the dog attacked him. Asahi of course asked the girl to help him, but the angry girl immediately ignored him. After waking up, Asahi headed straight to school. He sneaks late to his class and has forgotten his seat. He asks his friend where his seat is. He shows him where it is, and when he sits in his seat, he sees that the girls sitting next to him are all the same girls he saw in the morning. The brown-haired girl looks towards him, however he tries to ignore her. The teacher, who is of course one of the girls, introduces all the new girls: Aoi, Amelia, Ilya, Karen, and Manogfa. The sensei realizes the boy is late and calls him a naughty boy. He does his best not to let any of the other girls see him. They ask him why he's facing the window the whole time. However, he doesn't turn his face. When the teacher demands him to look the other way, he attempts to change the way he looks and the girls fall for it. Aoi asks if he's the guy from this morning and startles him. The rest of the girls also recognize him. Asahi asks him for his name because the slap made him forget everything. His name is Yoshi. Asahi tells him how his morning went with the 5 girls. Yoshi is jealous. Ilya is running in the background and changes behind the lockers. Aoi thinks that it wasn't truly Asahi's fault for the things that happened this morning. Aoi is blushing while looking at our man. Yoshi tells him that he should try to clear up the misunderstandings between them. As he goes to his locker, he finds a love note sticking there and it tells him to meet this girl somewhere. He is running and is about to hit Aoi, however he doesn't crash into her. Aoi asks him if he has any of her belongings from the morning, but he accidentally pulls out the red bra from his pocket. She gets angry and jealous and slaps him in the face. He sees Karen as hungry because she didn't have any food. He gives her the banana in the morning and she eats it. Of course it has to be lewd. Why wouldn't it be? Ilya runs and the dogs are again chasing her or him. She or he takes shelter behind Asahi and he tries to protect her by yelling at the dog. However, the dogs just jump on him and get him in position. Poor man can't catch a break today. While walking back, he sees the teacher telling him that he needs to have his wound treated. She puts a cotton ball on it and treats it. She apologizes for jumping to the wrong conclusion on the train. Asahi accepts her apology, and Amelia comes in. The teacher leaves them together, and Amelia asks him where the bandages are. She tells him the chafing hurts, and he realizes that he has her great cloth. She forces him to give it back to her. She knows that it wasn't his fault for taking it and apologizes for acting up. At the end of the long day, he decides to check on what his note says and it leads him to a giant sakura tree. Aoi meets him there and tells him that she loves him. Asahi is taken back by this and blushes. He lets her underwear float away. She repeats that she likes him. She realizes her underwear are on the tree and runs away. Ilya comes and barks in his ears. He walks away with him and tells him that he loves him. Asahi doesn't say much. Soon after, the teacher comes running and grabs him away with her. They run together into an alley and she doesn't explain anything that is going on. She realizes that something is bad, and men are coming in the distance. She is grabbing onto our man and treating him like he's her territory. They have left, but she doesn't stop doing it. Our man has just experienced the best climax in his life. She explains to him that someone is trying to marry her, but she doesn't like the person who is trying to marry her. Those people are attempting to get her to marry him. She apologizes to him, but he doesn't need her apology. He's just confused because he thought she should do that with a person you love. She tells him that she does love him. She tells him they're a man and woman, and asks him if he likes her. He runs away from action like every anime protagonist. Karen has found him and jumps in a wedding dress towards him. He runs away, attempting to ignore her. She reveals that she's actually a model and is even on all the billboards. He wonders if her outfit is for a photo shoot and she tells him it's actually for a wedding. For Karen and Asahi's wedding. She tells him it's because she's in love with him. She takes him to a church. Then she takes him to a love hotel. He tells her that they should first say their vows and he could never reject a model to be his wife. He asks her to close her eyes and she stays waiting. She tells him to stop the suspense. Our man fumbled the bag again. Amelia is in disguise and asks him for a signature. She insists and he decides to look at the document. He begins to write his name but realizes that this is actually a marriage form. Asahi keeps rejecting all the tail he gets. The robot comes again to Amelia, pulling away her bra once again. He finally heads home and sees 5 girls on their knees. Aoi tells him, "Welcome home, dear." As they welcome him, he closes the door. They ask if he wants dinner or a bath, or maybe Amelia. He thinks this is the wrong house, but they assure him it's his. He wonders why they're here. He gets a message from his father. It says that these 5 women are potential brides for him. They're all pretty hot. One of them is a guy. But in this era, you shouldn't limit yourself. Anyway, they'll all be living with him today, and whether he marries all of them, or gets rid of all of them, it's up to him. Aoi asks him what he wants for dinner and they begin arguing about what to have for dinner. He yells at all of them to leave and they get on their knees and are upset. They explain that it is a bit mean of him to throw them out immediately, because they'll have nowhere to stay. They've been staying at hotels in the past, so he tells them to keep living there, but there's not enough rooms in the home for 5 girls. However, they reveal that there actually is, and the house appears to have been renovated in a single day. He tells them that it's not about space. He's a guy and shouldn't be living with girls. What if something happens? They tell him that they wouldn't mind if anything happened anyway. The school even approved permission for the teacher to live with him. They wonder if he likes them, so they decide to make food for him and prepare a table together. They feed him together and he decides to go take a bath. Karen follows him and attempts to get along with him. However, he just kicks her out. He notices that Amelia is in the bath and decides to leave her alone in there. He enters his room making sure no one is there. He finally relaxes, but sees the teacher has Spider-Man's abilities. He yells at them that he told them not to hassle him and that they must leave now. However, they don't have a place to go to, so he decides that he will be the one leaving instead. He has no idea where to go, so he decides to go to where he saw the sakura tree. Aoi goes up behind. She tells him that she spent so long wondering who this special someone was. They had all been wondering who this person was and how he'd change their lives. They've been so anxious, so that may be why they overstepped their boundaries. She tells him that they apologize, and that they will leave to no longer bother him. She tells him that they will manage even though they have nowhere to go. He tells her it's okay. They'll stay at his house and that he can't throw out these girls anyway. However, they will no longer mess with him like this. She promises they'll do their best and he smiles, saying it's okay. She begins to tear up because of his warm smile. Meanwhile, the girls are preparing to pack their bags and leave. But Asahi tells them that they will not be going anywhere. They just must behave themselves. And that's how began their life together. Big Toe to sign the marriage contract. He screams in her. At breakfast he explains to Aoi that every day there is always an attempt and he cannot take it anymore. Aoi says that it just shows how much everyone loves him. Karen goes down and asks where the face towels are, so Aoi points her in the right direction. When she leaves, Asahi asks why Aoi has never invaded his room. Before she answers, Bae comes down looking for her tablet. Aoi gives it to her, explaining she left it on the sofa yesterday. She thanked her as Aoi even charged the tablet for her. Making breakfast he write Aoi's name with ketchup. Amelia then comes down and tries to write Asahi's name with ketchup, but she ends up getting angry and dumps ketchups all over it. In school they are going to do kanji writing exercises. Amelia looked kind of sick, so Yoshi asks what was wrong with her. Asahi explains she ate a lot of ketchup with her breakfast. The teacher calls on Karen to write the kanji. She goes to the board and writes kanji beautifully, earning her praise from the teacher and the class. Amelia volunteers to be the next one. Her attempt however made her write murky white liquid instead of fresh milk due to her bad kanji. She passes it off as a joke, but the whole class laughs and she gets embarrassed. When the teacher leaves she tells them that they will have a kanji writing test next week. The class groans about the test. Amelia tries to invite Asahi for lunch, but finds him missing from his chair. It turns out he and Yoshi are on the roof eating lunch. Yoshi shares his admiration for Amelia as she is always trying her best. Asahi explains that it is because she doesn't want to lose. Lost a game of rock paper scissors to a TV show for 2 straight weeks. She studied all night to devise a way to never lose. She challenges anyone to try her new method, and if they win she will give them her extra special pudding. However, she ends up losing again and starts crying. Yoshi notices that Asahi is having more fun than he expected and he is relieved. However, as Asahi is distracted, Yoshi grabs food from his lunch and eats it. Asahi scolds him for grabbing his food. Yoshi comments that with a selection like his he could spare some. Yoshio says that learning and making your favorite food is a sign of real love. After having dinner, Asahi notices Amelia missing. Ilya tells him that she went to her room immediately after dinner. Asahi climbs up to her room. As he approaches her door he hears moaning and Amelia saying no, not there. This scandalizes Asahi as he turns red and wonders what she is doing. When he storms into her room he finds out that she was practicing kanji with a sexual training diary novel. She explains she can study however she likes and that she has to ace the upcoming test. She laments how she is having a hard time mastering the characters that even his idiot friend Yoshi could easily do. She needs to be good at the country's language. Asahi decides to tutor her after school. The following day they go to the library to study as Asahi wants to prevent others from getting the wrong idea about them. He gives her a test to measure her current level. After the test she says that it was too easy. Asahi is shocked at the results as she uses words which she learned from the novel. He wonders why she cannot write simple kanji when she can do all those difficult ones. He then recommends they do special training to help her master kanji. During dinner Bai brings out pudding for dessert as it's Amelia's favorite. However, she is nowhere to be found. Later, as Asahi leaves the toilet he notices a light from Amelia's room. He realizes that she is working late again just mastering her kanji. The following day she continues to work on it even during class hours. In the library Asahi continues to monitor her kanji work. When he invites her to go home she tells him how she wants to stay longer, so she asks him to go ahead and leave without her. He asks why she is trying so hard. She should not go overboard just for the test score. She gets frustrated by this and tells him trying and getting no results is pointless. After saying that she cries and runs away. At home the girls are worried about how Amelia locked herself in her room and did not even bother with dinner. Amelia sits on her bed inside her dark room. Asahi knocks and says he will be coming inside. He sits beside her and tells her how everyone is worried about her. Asahi tries to talk to her about what happened in the library, but she asks him to leave her alone. She confesses that she wants to thank him and be honest with him. With tears streaming down her cheeks she asks Asahi if he hates girls like her, self-centered and unable to share their true feelings. He explains that getting emotional means you are a sensitive. He tells her he appreciates her hard work and it is not pointless that she tried. He pets her head and tells her not to hate herself. This triggers a memory inside Amelia which causes her to pause and stop crying. He should have said he loves her and that she is cute even if it was a lie. He responds that he hates lying. He gets for the paper bag which contains flashcards to help her memorize kanji better. Asahi notices the girls spying on them from the door. He commands the door to open which makes all the girls come crashing in. Bai explains they thought Amelia might want some pudding. The next day Amelia goes around the house labeling items in kanji. They all take the test. Amelia passes the test with a grade of 70. The others are surprised that she is not disappointed with the results. She tells them she is okay because she worked hard. At lunch Yoshi comments on how Amelia has changed. Asahi finds a thank you note in his bento box which was the lunch Amelia helped Aoi to prepare. His lovely lunch turned out to be with his name perfectly written in kanji on it. After this, their life temporarily comes back to normal. Until several bridal candidates win a group hot spring trip in a street raffle. They excitedly take Asahi to the hot spring inn. The only one who is anxious about the trip is Ilya. Ilya is actually a girl and her father asks her to live as a boy before he died, wanting her to be the heir as a boy. Since then Ilya has been living as a boy cautiously. Now when Ilya arrives at the hot spring inn, the first problem she encounters is the allocation of rooms. All the girls want to live with Asahi, but Asahi eventually decides that he and Ilya will live in one room and the girls in the other rooms. When Asahi is separated from the girls, he obviously gets relaxed a lot, as with good male friends. Ilya is shy. She has to endure it because she knows that this is a normal way for boys to get along.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
Girls find Ilya and Asahi. They want to go play table tennis and want Ilya and Asahi to be referees. After a short break, everyone starts to enjoy dinner prepared by the innkeeper. They notice that there are masks with long noses everywhere in the hotel and curiously ask the owner about the situation. The owner explains that these are Tengu masks. It is said that this hotel has been blessed by Tengu, and Tengu masks have been placed here for generations. With the boss's explanation, everyone finishes the dinner. They plan to go to the hot springs later. As the procedure requests, everyone has to clean themselves up before going to the hot spring. Ilya is too afraid of the Tengu mask on the side and comes up with it. By the time Ilya wakes up, she is already lying on the bed in the room, with Asahi by her side. She realizes that her identity has been exposed. Asahi is the first to apologize for his previous series of offensive behaviors. Ilya quickly says that her former disguise caused the misunderstanding, and tells the reason for pretending to be a boy. Asahi sympathizes with Ilya and asks for her true thoughts. Ilya cries uncontrollably, confessing that she has always wanted to live as a girl. Asahi gently hugs her as a comfort, encouraging her to be her true self. Asahi's body temperature warms Ilya, and in an instant a little boy who looks a lot like Asahi appears in her mind, which seems to be related to her memories. Later the girls excitedly tell Asahi and Ilya that they had seen Tengu in the hot springs yesterday. Ilya instantly blushes and Asahi smiles. This is a secret between the two of them. Guys, I don't know if you have noticed that with the development of the plot, there are many mysteries in this anime. What have you discovered while watching this anime? How do you feel about that? Welcome to leave a message in the comment section and have a discussion. Story continues in the school, Yoshi telling Asahi that still can't believe that Ilya is a girl. Asahi tells him that her name is Irina. Then Monfa appears and tells them to get in class, straightens Asahi's tie which embarrass him, but Yoshi is very jealous because of that. He tells Asahi that he is very lucky. He tells Asahi that Monfa is grown up and experienced woman and that he would come for the private lessons. They are interrupted by Amelia and Karen. They say that they are better than her.
Nope.
Soon after at home, Monfa drinks a little too much. She says that loves everyone, but then notices that her dress is unbuttoned. She asks Asahi to zip it, but he is very embarrassed and can't do that.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
She tries to hug Asahi but is stopped by Karen. After that she falls asleep at the couch. Asahi comes to his room, but notices that there is someone in the bed. He thinks that it's someone of the girls, but when he throws off the blanket he sees an unknown man.
Hello there.
The man tells him that he's coming with him. Asahi wakes up in the unknown building. The man tells him that he will be the bait for the tigress. Then alarm goes off. After that Monfa opens the doors and sees Asahi in an embarrassed position. She frees him and makes some photos. She tells him that she will rescue him. They quit and meet some guards. Monfa easily knocks them out. Asahi helps her as well. The elevator doesn't work and Monfa using her eye to find the tech room. Monfa fixing the electricity. But then the unknown man appears. He says he didn't expect less from her. He tries to attack Asahi but is blocked by Monfa. The man tells that there was a secret agent who was very cruel and killed everyone on her missions. The name of the agent is the Bloody Tigress and it turns out that it was Monfa in past. The man tells that she killed all his crew and he came for revenge. They starts fighting and the man tells her that he will kill Asahi just like she killed his crew. Monfa attacks him and after a short fight he grabs her. Teacher saying Asahi to turn on the switch. The man was tied up with a super strong string and now can't free himself. Our duo runs away from there. Near the elevator Monfa tells Asahi that all this was true. She tells that she is tired of being the killer and decides to become the teacher. Monfa says that all the time she spent with them was incredible. She tells that they teach her how to live a normal life. But she tells that normal life will end today. Her cloth transforms into the battlesuit. She fight the agents and after a short but an epic fight she ends up defeating them all. She tells Asahi to use the emergency exit and leave. Asahi asks if we will go with him, but she just say him to go. He wants to help her, but she shoots near him and tells that he will bother her. She continue beating of the guards. Suddenly Asahi hears explosion. Monfa get out of the building and starts crying. She hears a glass break and then a man jumps on her. She can't believe it, but it turns out that he became in cyborg. Man tells her that he almost died. She tries to shoot him, but it's pointless. He uses his robotic arm and grabs her. Man says that he finally get his revenge and wondering how he should torture her, but suddenly fire extinguisher slams his arm. Asahi returned to save Monfa. He runs away and screams to get off the teacher, but the man just pushes him away. Asahi tells that Monfa is an important part of the family and he won't let him injure her. All of a sudden Monfa get a flashback where the boy similar to Asahi defends her. The man tries to catch Asahi, but the boy just slips out of the cloth. Asahi uses some Seuss liquid on him and then electrocutes him, but that's not enough and Asahi screams to teacher to finish the bad guy. Monfa runs towards them and uses her super fist to finish off Monfa asks if Asahi is okay. He answers that everything is fine. She asks why he didn't run away, to what he answered that he can't go home without her. Asahi says that he doesn't care what the teacher was doing in the past. She is a part of their family. Hearing this, Monfa starts crying and hugs Asahi. The sun goes up and Asahi tells that they need to go home. After that, Karen wakes up and goes in the living room. She is shocked by the scene. All girls coming to her to see what is happening. They see Asahi and Monfa in a very Seuss position. Plus they are covered up in some Seuss liquid. They can't understand what is happening. Karen is angry and tells them to wake up and explain what is happening and why are they covered in some strange Seuss liquid. Few days later, we see that someone is going to the supermarket late at night. It turns out that it's Asahi who decided to buy some groceries late at night. Something is spying on him. It's noticing something very familiar to all of us in his pants. This robot tries to attack Asahi but then got destroyed by some unknown beam. Asahi was saved by the mysterious girl with the wings. Soon after at school, Asahi tells about his incident to Yoshi. He doesn't believe him and says that it's not true. Later, Karen walks to Asahi and tells him to make love. This shocks both Asahi and Yoshi. Karen says that she loves him and there is nothing strange in such desire. Karen leans and tells him that he spent a lot of time with other girls. Moreover, he was seen in a very Seuss position with Monfa. Hearing this, Yoshi starts to cry and tells that he's jealous. Asahi tells him that this is a misunderstanding. When he turns around to Karen, he sees her looking in the window. A huge floating machine appears outside the window and shocks the students. Then a group of robots appear and he transforms into the magic girl he saw before on the rooftop. A rabbit that can fly stays next to her and urges her to take action as soon as possible. Karen doesn't have time to explain it to Asahi and asks Asahi to touch her so that she can gain magic power. Though Asahi refuses, the rabbit directly pushes him onto Karen. Karen gains energy from this physical contact and immediately flies to the sky to fight the floating machine. Unfortunately, she quickly runs out of energy and falls weakly into Asahi's arms. After hiding with Karen, Asahi learns what happened under Karen and the rabbit's explanations. This group of robots tries to destroy the world by attacking men, and they've already destroyed the world where the rabbit has lived. Later, the rabbit escaped to Earth and met Karen. Most humans can't see the rabbit, but Karen can. In revenge, the rabbit invited Karen to accept its powers to become a magic girl and destroy these robots with him. At that time, Karen thought it was interesting to be a magic girl and agreed. But now she finally realizes how difficult it is. The most important thing for her now is to destroy the floating machine, as it has been directing other robots to attack everywhere. Now Karen is the only one who can save the Earth, since weapons on Earth can't cause any harm on these robots. The rabbit takes Karen and Asahi to find his car and says that as long as Karen falls in love with someone she likes, she can get magical energy. The meter in the car shows how much magical energy Karen gets. After saying all these, the rabbit leaves the car. Karen is about to be defeated. At this moment, Asahi suddenly hugs her and now Karen gets energy again. She unleashes powerful magic and finally the floating machine is destroyed. After that, Karen also casts magic to heal all the wounded humans in the world. After that, she returns to her original form. Asahi anxiously asks whether she is injured. At this moment, a boy who looks like Asahi also appears in Karen's mind. Seeing Asahi approaching her, but she runs away shyly.
Bruh.
Meanwhile, a group of mysterious people are plotting a conspiracy. Well, that was really interesting story. Who do you think these people are? The story continues as Asahi is walking on the beach with some mysterious girl at night. They looking at the sky and telling names of the stars. The girl says that she wants to stay with Asahi here forever and asks him what is his opinion on that. Asahi replies that he's okay with that, and then they returns back. Asahi wakes up at home. Irina says good morning to him, but then Amelia says that we won't wake up and jumps on Asahi.
Bruh.
Asahi wonders why should they woke up so early. Girls say that he should hurry or they leave without him. Asahi remembers that today they are coming to the beach. It turns out that they are going to the private beach of Yoshi's family. Everyone is very excited because of that, but Irina is very happy that she's going on the beach. Asahi wonders why does she react like that, to what she replies that she has never seen the sea. Karen and Amelia starts telling her scary stories about sea monsters that will catch her, but Asahi reassures her that everything will be fine. Yoshi is very angry because they are not listening to him. He seems very happy because of this trip. Soon we'll find out why. Yoshi tells that the driver is coming. He waves him but suddenly gets knocked by the car, and that's where the isekai begins. I'm just joking. Girls and Asahi coming to the place. They are amused by the house and telling that this house far better than Tengu Hotel. Irina asks Asahi does Yoshi from the rich family, but he replies that he's actually don't know too much about him. Mongfa saying that Yoshi broke some bones because of that car accident. After that they all went to the beach. Mongfa saying that Asahi shouldn't name her as a teacher because she feels old when he calls her like that. She tells him to call her by her name, but Asahi replies that it's not so easy. However, he calls Mongfa by her name, but then again calls her teacher. Mongfa is satisfied with this result. Amelia tells them they should stop flirting and then drop some water on Mongfa. After that, Karen immediately was hit by a wall. Karen tries to joke on Mongfa about her age and that she should use a suntan, but that wasn't a good idea. Suddenly Karen finds something. Turns out that this beach only for the people without swimsuits. Now we understand why Yoshi was so happy because of this trip. They are thinking what to do next and their best idea is just to take off swimsuits. But Asahi is wearing some kind of face mask. I don't want to know why does they have this mask. They decided to play hide and seek where Asahi must find them all and I still can't understand how does he sees them through this mask. Soon after they head back to the house. Everyone is very tired. They all thinks how good was this day and wants it to never end. Suddenly all the girls disappeared. Asahi doesn't understand what happened. He heads back to the house in hope that he will find them there. To his surprise no one is there. He wants to call someone but suddenly Aoi appears behind him. He tells her that everyone disappeared but Aoi don't understand what he is talking about. She tells him that she will make a dinner for him. Something's very strange happening here. Aoi turns off Asahi's phone while Asahi starting a fire, his phone ringing again and Aoi completely destroys it with a knife. After eating a dinner Aoi tells that this place is very quiet. Asahi agrees but then gets a flashback where he sees all the girls. Aoi tells him they should take a walk. He wonders where they going. Our duo came to the sakura tree. Asahi can't understand why does the tree blooms at summer. Aoi says that she loves him very much and starts saying some yandere things. But Asahi asks where all the girls and what is this place. He asks who Aoi is to which she replies that it's not important anymore. She begs him to stay here with her forever. Asahi stops her by saying names of all girls and asks where the girls are once again. Now Asahi gets a flashback with the mysterious girl. Asahi remember the girl. Her name is Ai. She tells Asahi that we wanted to be with him forever but unfortunately now it's impossible. Ai tells Asahi do not come back and runs away. Then we see a numerous error signs. So what happened there, let's find out. The next day Asahi is waking up at his home. He realizes that he'll be late to school and quickly runs away and wonders why does no one woke him up. He grabs food and runs to the school. His mother wonders where is he going and that's the first time we see his mother. Then we see a woman watching something on the screen. He comes to class and sees that someone is sitting on his chair. He says that it's his place and he sits there. But the boy who looks like Yoshi doesn't understand him. No one is recognizing Asahi. He asks where all the girls but fake Yoshi thinks that Asahi just joking around. Asahi runs away from the class and hits one of the girls. The girls wondering who this is. One of them thinking that it's that boy who's misses a lot of lessons. Asahi runs to the park and finds out that there is no sakura tree that was there before. A girl appears and telling Asahi that she finally found him. The girls asks Asahi to tell her what happened. Asahi asks her who she is. The girl shows tablet with Yoshi and tells that she's actually was him. They are coming to some science center and hiding behind the wall. The girl tells Asahi to sit down on the chair. During the examination, Feynman explains the truth to Asahi. She has recently conducted a special experiment intending to let artificial intelligence feel human emotions and get evolved. Not long ago she openly recruited volunteers in the newspaper to participate in various experiments and Asahi was one of them. Asahi had been living in the VR world for months and the girls around him were all artificial intelligence, so-called AI. They are the girls that researchers around the world have designed through long-term experiments to best suit men's preferences. When they first met Asahi they didn't know what love was so they behaved erratically. When they were getting along with Asahi, The girls gradually developed emotions close to love. Strangely, on the day they went to the beach with Asahi, the researcher's connection to the VR world was blocked and Asahi was forcibly sent back to the real world. Not believing Feynman's words, Asahi starts to vent. After that, he regains some memories and realizes that what Feynman said is closer to the truth. Desperate, he falls on the chair. At this time, the sound of Asahi and Feynman attracts Feynman's colleague and leader. It turns out that Feynman was kicked out of the lab long ago because of the failed experiment. Dissatisfied with Feynman, who sneaks back into the lab, the leader has fired her. Later, Feynman leaves the lab with Asahi. She then tells Asahi more about the experiment. 3 years ago, a mysterious doctor made a human-like AI before he died, which has been used in various fields. The girls who previously lived with Asahi were also derived from the human-like AI created by the doctor. Besides, Feynman tells an even more surprising truth. In fact, I was created by the doctor copying the consciousness of his terminally ill daughter, which makes Asahi stunned. At this moment, Asahi recalls a lot of past events and remembers that the doctor's daughter was his childhood sweetheart. After that, Asahi says goodbye to Feynman and runs to Ai's grave crying sadly. Meanwhile, when passing a plaza, Feynman is surprised to find that the image of Aoi is shown on the screen in the center of the square. In the previous episode, Aoi takes over all electronics. Meanwhile, Asahi having a dinner with his mother. She's wondering where did he go at the morning. Meanwhile, at the Cavendish HQ, we see that they can't reconnect to the satellite and can't believe that this was done by the AI. Meanwhile, Yoshino came to Asahi. He asks her why she decided to come to his house, to which she replies that she tried to call him but he didn't respond. She asks Asahi to get back into similarity because only he can stop Aoi. Yoshino explains that Aoi and I became the one person and that's why Aoi went insane. Yoshino explains that all 5 girls' eye was downloaded into the satellite that we saw before and Aoi captured satellite. That's why everyone has problems with electronics. Satellite doesn't let anyone join the system except Asahi. After that, Asahi robot starts jumping around the room and we see Amelia, Karen, Irina and Mongfa in the low poly resolution. Amelia fixes their resolution and they explains that Aoi probably was hiding her feelings and that's why all this happened. Asahi looks at the girls' familiar faces and realizes that although he met them in the VR world, his feelings for them are real. He is about to respond to the girls' request when the projection suddenly breaks down. That's when Feynman receives a call from her colleague and learns that the director of the institute has decided to get rid of all AI from the world. Since there are numerous AI in the world, this plan will take some time to implement. Asahi hears the conversation from the phone call and comprehends that he must stop Aoi as soon as possible or the girls will disappear completely. Feynman learns that Asahi has decided to save the girls and immediately takes him to the lab. This lab once belonged to Ai's father. After Ai's father died, Feynman manages to run the lab. She points out that it was here that Ai's father created AI, so his computer is the only access to the VR world. Feynman speeds to operate the computer to execute the program that brings Asahi into the VR world. She suddenly recalls that Aoi once said that she longed for a relationship. Feynman realizes that Asahi left the VR world, causing Aoi to lose the opportunity to fall in love with him, and this is the reason Aoi loses control. Feynman is even more convinced that only Asahi can stop Aoi from losing her sanity. Asahi is a bit nervous. He knows that this trip to the VR world could be dangerous or he might never be able to return to reality for the rest of his life. But to protect Aoi and the other girls, he is willing to do anything. Under Feynman's guidance, Asahi's consciousness plunges into darkness. When Asahi opens his eyes, he sees that his alarm robot has followed him into the VR world. It turns out that in order to help Asahi, Feynman specially builds an alarm robot. She communicates with Asahi through the robot and leads him to a square. Feynman feels that the robot is inconvenient to use and turns it into Yoshio. Asahi realizes that the last time he entered the VR world, Feynman was watching him as Yoshio. At this time, a group of sweeping robots suddenly appear nearby, forcing Asahi and Yoshio to go offline. Yoshio quickly takes Asahi to his room in this world where Amelia, Irina, Mongfa and Karen are hiding. At this time, neither Asahi nor Yoshio are wearing any clothes, causing them to be attacked by the girls. Asahi quickly gets dressed and Yoshio turns into the rabbit who helped Karen turn into a magical girl. Feynman then talks to the girls. From their conversations, we learn that the Institute has launched a program that controls all the robots in the VR world. The mission of these robots is to destroy all AI while forcing everyone off the VR world. Once Asahi is caught, his brain is going to be probably severely damaged. Now they have to dodge the robots and find Aoi. Feynman has been paying attention to the changes in this VR world and finds that Aoi has left a passage for Asahi in the VR world and guesses that they could find Aoi just by entering this passage. She immediately connects with Asahi and leads them to a building where Asahi and Mongfa together. While exploring the building they encounter many humanoid robots. Feynman transforms all the girls into magic girls through the rabbit. The girls become very powerful while the rabbit has no combat power and is quickly attacked by the enemy. Asahi falls into the hall with the rabbit to protect it. Asahi looks at the rabbit remembering that she had led Karen to him and raised his confusion about whether the girl's encounters with him were arranged by Feynman through the rabbit. Asahi is disappointed when he receives an affirmative answer from Feynman. She can only console Asahi that the girls have developed special feelings during their time with Asahi. It's a pity that her words do not comfort Asahi. At this moment Mongfa, who is fighting, is the first to notice that Asahi has disappeared and looks for him around. She overhears Asahi and Feynman's conversation, but now she has no time to comfort Asahi. In the process of meeting with the others they are attacked by many robots and the strong man who once fought Mongfa also appears. Although the girls have great power they are much smaller in number than the robots, and these robots have been strengthened by the researchers, each of which is powerful. The girls gradually fall into a disadvantage and even the rabbit is destroyed by robots. Fortunately Asahi and the girls find the passage left by Aoi in time. After Asahi and Mongfa manage to open the door of the passage the others break into it. The door of the passage cannot be closed from the inside and Mongfa decides to stay and fight the robots alone and let Asahi enter the passage. She tells Asahi that when he fights the strong man to protect her she awakens some of Ai's memories. Years ago Asahi risked his life to save her when he was being abused by other children. At that moment Mongfa realized that she was in love with Asahi. She confirms that her love is not manufactured by the researchers and that her feelings for Asahi are real. Now it's her turn to protect Asahi. She kisses Asahi and pushes him into the passage before the door is closed. Asahi doesn't have time to stop Mongfa and only grabs one of her headbands. Outside the gate Mongfa bursts out with all her strength to fight these powerful robots. She recalls her experience with Asahi and feels very happy. At this moment she feels that she has no regrets in her life. Inside the gate Asahi and the other girls see Mongfa's hairband dissipate in the air and realize that Mongfa has disappeared. When everyone realizes that Mongfa has disappeared they burst into tears. During this time of living together they have long regarded Mongfa as an important companion. But now there is no time for them to grieve and they must find Aoi as soon as possible. They cross the passage in front of them and arrive at the school they had attended. Before everyone can explore the situation nearby they are attacked by a robot. Karen sees that Asahi is injured. To protect Irina quickly destroys the robot with magic and hides in a classroom with her companions. The girls complain that Asahi shouldn't push himself too far because his injuries in the VR world would endanger his real-life body. They apparently forget that if they are seriously injured they will disappear completely. When they hear Asahi emotionally point this out they all fall silent. At this point the new clues discovered by Amelia break the silence. Using the tablet left by the rabbit she searches for a passage close to Aoi on the rooftop. They come to the rooftop and are surprised to see that the entire VR world is in chaos and close to destruction. And the passage they want to reach is surrounded by those robots. It seems that forcibly breaking into the passage is simply impossible. In this dilemma Karen and Irina offer to act as bait to attract the robots' attacks and give Asahi and Amelia enough time to enter the passage. Karen and Irina reason that only Asahi has a chance to stop Aoi and Amelia needs to show Asahi the way. After that they take to the sky to fight the robots despite the objections of Asahi and Amelia. Asahi knows that they are running out of time and it's not the best moment to argue. He tells them to follow him as soon as they end the battle and takes Amelia into the passage. Karen and Irina destroy the switch at the entrance to the passage after he enters the passage because they don't want the robots to have a chance to catch up with Asahi and Amelia. The next place Asahi and Amelia arrive is the library where Asahi helped Amelia study. She can't help but recall her experience of falling in love with Asahi and laments that she put in a lot of effort to learn kanji but it didn't work. At her most frustrating moment it was Asahi's encouragement that comforted her. At that moment Amelia knew what it was like to really like someone. At the time Amelia recalled a similar experience since the memory of Ai hid in her mind. I adopted a lost puppy in order to become a competent master. I took good care of the puppy every day with Asahi. Unfortunately, the puppy was eventually picked up by its previous master. I felt very frustrated during that time. It was Asahi's encouragement that helped I get out of the haze. At this point Amelia isn't the only one drowning in memories. Irina and Karen get caught up in the fight and they think of their beloved Asahi. The time they spent with Asahi makes them feel extremely sweet, and this sweetness is enough to wash away all the regrets of parting. They use magic to convey their feelings to Asahi and then rush into the robots to fight with their last strength. Asahi is in the library when he suddenly receives messages from Irina and Karen. Worried that they have fallen into a desperate situation, he cries out sadly, but he doesn't have much time to cry for them because the robots have surrounded the library. In the moment of crisis, Amelia is unusually calm and she is ready to sacrifice herself to protect Asahi. She kisses Asahi as a farewell and then opens the passage under Asahi's feet. He calls out Amelia's name in astonishment and falls into the passage. Asahi is worried about Amelia's safety when he meets Aoi. Before he can say a word, Aoi takes the initiative to explain everything. Aoi awakened Ai's memory and she lost her mind under the influence of Ai's strong love for Asahi, so she tried to keep Asahi by her side in an extreme way. Now she feels the death of the other 4 girls and regrets her irrational behavior. Aoi gives up the idea of possessing Asahi, and the only thought she has now is to make Asahi feel Ai's emotions because she is so sympathetic to Ai. Guided by Aoi, Asahi sees Ai's memory. She grew up with him and always had a crush on him. Once when they were shopping together, Ai took a fancy to an expensive necklace but couldn't afford to buy it. Unexpectedly, Asahi saw through her mind and bought the necklace as a gift for her. Just as Ai was immersed in joy, she suddenly felt strong dizziness, but she didn't tell Asahi about it to not worry him. As a result, when she returned home, she fainted and was taken to the hospital by her father. After the doctor's diagnosis, Ai had a fatal disease and would not live long. Knowing this, Ai fell into despair. The days that followed were tortuous for Ai, who lived in fear of death every day. She was only happy when Asahi came to visit her. As her condition worsened, she became more and more haggard. In order not to worry Asahi, she had been using makeup to hide her poor physical condition. However, her illness gradually became so severe that she could no longer hide it with makeup. By this time, Ai had reached the end of her life and she had only one wish left, which was to see the cherry blossoms with Asahi, because they had promised to each other that they would get married under the cherry trees when they grew up. But Ai was already inseparable from the hospital bed and her wish was destined not to be fulfilled in reality. At the end of the memory, Asahi could feel Ai's despair before she died, and he can't calm down for a long time. Just then he learns from Aoi that Ai's consciousness is still in the VR world. With Aoi's help, Asahi hurriedly enters another passage to find Ai. Under a cherry tree, Asahi meets her. He hugs her excitedly, telling how much he misses her. However, the first thing Ai says to him is that she hopes Asahi can forget her because she doesn't want Asahi to be immersed in painful memories. Asahi is adamant that he won't forget Ai. He grew up with Ai, who is an inseparable part of his life. Even if Ai can't be by his side in the future, he will live with memories of her. Asahi gets more and more emotional as he speaks, and for the first time he confesses his love for Ai. Touched by Asahi's words, she can no longer restrain her repressed emotions. Crying while confessing the fact that she also loves Asahi, under the control of Ai, the cherry tree under which they once made the promise appears next to them. Ai kisses Asahi affectionately. At this moment, countless sweet memories related to Asahi flood into Ai's mind and she feels extremely happy without any regrets. Ai thinks only by leaving her can Asahi start a new life. After an affectionate farewell, Ai gradually dissipates into the air, leaving only her necklace to Asahi. He calmly accepts Ai's departure, knowing that she will live forever in his memory no matter what. Eventually, Asahi returns to the real world with the help of Aoi. Since Aoi is no longer out of control, the Institute terminates the program that will destroy the AI world and the world returns to normal. Later, Feynman is appointed to be the director of the Institute for helping Asahi prevent Aoi from getting out of control during the disaster. She's still doing research on AI and has prepared some surprises for Asahi. By this time, Asahi has been admitted to a university and has started a new life. As he receives the 4 packages sent by Feynman, he is surprised to see Amelia, Karen, Irina and Mongfa coming out. It turns out that Feynman managed to repair the 4 AI girls after research and give them bodies. From then on, the girls move into Asahi's home and start living with him. While everyone is enjoying the joy of reunion, Aoi also gets the body Feynman made for her and comes to Asahi's doorstep. And that's the end of Season 1. To be honest, this anime had some unexpected twists and was kinda good. Tell me what you think about this anime.
And that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss new video. Also, you can become a channel member and order any anime recap. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.